So you started meditating at 8 years old.
Yes.
You started meditating at 8 years old, right?
Yep.
What was going on in your life at that time for an 8-year-old to start meditating?
Playing high-level soccer. I had my coach, after I'd gotten taken into state competition and all that stuff, and then when I tried out for the second team, the coach played with Pele, so Pele always meditated, so that's how I learned it.
So from your coach?
Yep.
Had you guys meditating, like you kids at 8 years old?
Yes.
Dang, that's a good coach to have.
Yeah, absolutely. So then after that, I mean, it went to playing high school football. He taught us to meditate before games. Ishi, my soccer coach in college, and Fred Akers taught meditation for football. And I mean, that was it. Like for whatever reason, every sports coach, and even when I went to work on my master's, the teacher said, okay, here's everybody gets an assignment to do. And mine was teach everybody how to meditate by the end of the semester. So I've always had people in my life. It was just orchestrated that way, Yeah.
And what did you find were like benefiting you as an 8-year-old meditating?
As an 8-year-old, one, I could see myself playing when I was playing. So I could literally, the game would just slow down, and which carried me through all my sporting events the rest of my life. And I think that's the big thing for meditation for me, is to tap into that moment that slows it all down. I mean, even at some point I'll get there, even in this conversation, where I'm just here. And that's, what's happened in my life of late is that I've just gotten to a point where I've let go of the past. Unless I'm talking on something like this, or someone sent me a reel the other day, and I was like, hey, I don't need these kind of reels. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, that's gone. So why do I need to waste my time now with that? And that within reason. I mean, in today's world where everything's focused on this insane political space, I don't really need to go dance back in that, because I'm not trying to relive that for myself, So, I mean, meditation is definitely the guide for my life.
So what is God for you?
God, the first thing is the creator, mother and father of all, infinite source, beyond space, time, and form, all that was, is, and will be. Prime source, great mystery, great spirit, everlasting creator, holiest of spirits, God. That's it for me. Like, it's everything. Like, it's the beginning. Like, there is nothing without God. So, as we're sitting here talking, really it's God talking to God. It just is what it is. God wants to come around and be part of this whole conversation. That's God is everything. I had this little kid once, or not a kid, but yes, we had a kid come to my ashram back in Maryland, and his mom just heard us. Bhagavan Das was there. I mean, it's 160 people in this room chanting with Bhagavan Das in our studio. And this little kid, mom says, hey, I just want my kids to see this experience. And this kid comes in, gets in front of the Buddha statue, and just starts bowing and smiling. Right? This is like a 3-year-old kid that never has been talked to about. That's God. God is everywhere when we see it. When we take the time to open up and see what's possible in ourselves. Yeah, I've just had a lot of experiences, man. It's like, all right, it's real, and I can't even really give you words about it, but I can give you the experiences of it for me.
What's one of those experiences you can think of right now?
Most recently, I would say I was sitting before I meditated, and I journal. Like, I journal a day. Like, I write down a day. And then I read something sometimes. And then if I had a dream, I have another journal. I write my dreams in. And then I go sit. So a few days ago, I asked, give me a sign. Like, I need to know. Like, sometimes I'm just like, all right, it's everything status quo. I need to know I'm still in the game, right? And so this moment, I went and met with a lady. We talked about a lot of things that were synchronized, and then I said, okay, I gotta go. I gotta go home. And I pulled up to this light that I pull up to every day. Like, in order to leave our house, get on anywhere, you've got to make a left and you pull up to this spot. And my whole car was swarmed by bees. No matter what we do, it's perfectly designed for us to be who we are being in the next moment, right? So we've all of us. Now, was there a time that I didn't recognize that? Yes. And that was my first marriage. I had experienced a lot of racism from her parents.
Mm.
And which triggered me to be different than, had everything been different, I would have been different. I can't, I would think I would have been different, but who knows? And so I know what I was I was still looking while I was in the marriage, because I married her because
You were looking for what?
looking for that feeling, that one. And
just the feeling of wholeness inside yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so when I went through that relationship, it was me looking, but also knowing, all right, I even said it when we first got married, in 10 years, we're going to have to do this again, because I know I'll be able to recommit. And
you'll get the lessons you need and learnings and the up leveling so you can handle it better.
Yeah, I mean, it was just an inner knowing. Not my earth self didn't know, but my higher self was like, he's not ready. Right? And so I went through that, and then the second marriage, I put myself in purgatory. I was fortunately, the Creator allowed it to be short. And then I had a short relationship that my grandmother said, get rid of her. And then I had my spiritual, in many ways, she was there for three of my vision quests, and my 10 days in silence, all different things. So it was a different space. And then restart was Liz. And the person I am being in this relationship now is totally different than all the relationships before. So I do feel, and my grandmom said, grandson, I know you love going out on dates, so go out on as many dates as you can. And I had to make a list, which is a 10-page list. It's basically a book of what I would want the person to be. And she said, now when you go out on these dates, if there's something missing in the list, change it in yourself and you'll never see them again. I did that. I got tired of going on dates. I met Liz and I said, can you read this book? Can you read this? She read it and started crying. And I was like, that's weird. And I was like, all right, why are you crying? She's like, how'd you write me down in a book? I said, that's it. Now there were a lot of other things that went with that just made sense.
How important was your meditation and yoga and spiritual practices to get you through a lot of these challenges that you face, whether it's being blind or being paralyzed temporarily, or some of these crazy challenges that you've been through?
Yeah, early on, like when I would get hurt as a kid or surgeries that I had through college, I didn't recognize the steadiness of my mind allowed me to, one, heal faster, to remove making it worse in my head that would likely make it worse for someone in their physical. And then I think that's maybe why the Creator gave me these things more than once, so that I could see. Like the second time going blind, I realized, oh, this is the lesson. The lesson was I wasn't seeing the beauty of God's world. Where the first time it was like, I just need to recover. Like, I need my sight back. And then the steadiness of my mind, being able to just be like, okay, there's a lesson here. What am I missing? I think that's what the meditation has given me, that ability to truly just watch what's happening without being reactive, without creating or adding more to it, and just dealing with what's at hand.
So what were you missing in seeing the beauty of God's creation, and what did you change after to to learn that lesson?
After, because I went to Dr. Samara, and I mean, my blood sugar hit 750, which normal is like 180 to 100. So 750, even though the doctor said this, and any doctor that says this to somebody should never say this to me, he said, you should be dead. Well, if I should be, I would be, right? So I don't get into the shoulda, woulda, couldas of the world. But with Dr. Samara, which was a different doctor than the one that said that, when he cleaned out my first eye, because I ended up having sugar that was clogging all my blood vessels and clogging up the...
Was this diet or more nervous system related? Was this stress? And
everything. I mean,
diet also?
Now, I also, not really my diet, but I removed all vices, right? Like marijuana, alcohol, all the things were gone. Coffee, everything. So I said, I am going to be a root beer connoisseur. Little did I know that the root beer would be a spike like no other to my blood sugar. So
yeah, only like 30 grams per serving or some crazy ridiculous amount.
Right, and I'm drinking like 5 a day.
Okay, that was why you had sugar in your eyeballs.
Exactly, and
root beer coming out my eyes.
I mean, yeah. So I go through that, and he cuts into my left eye. I still can't see my right, but he didn't want to cut them both in case something went wrong, and he had to do something different, so I'd at least possibly have one to see from. So I have this patch on my eye, and it's itching like crazy, and I'm like, all right, I really got to scratch this thing. Like, otherwise, I might scratch my eye in my sleep. So I call him and say, hey, doc, can I take this patch off? Why would you want to do that? Because it's itching like crazy. And he's like, yeah, okay, that's fine. Your eye's actually fine. It's fine. Just put the patch back on after you scratch. So I take the patch off, and now I'm like, man, I need to know if I can see. And Liz is sitting to the left of me as I'm listening to TV. And I open my eye and realize, damn. I mean, you've seen my wife. I know that most guys look at her because she is that beautiful, period. But that was me seeing her physical beauty. When I looked at her in that moment, I realized, damn, I did not know how beautiful she is.
Even though your eyesight was normal before that.
Absolutely.
You just had a new perspective, new sense of appreciation.
I could see everything. I could see the aura of her. Like, not just her physical space, but I can see what this camera could capture, right? And so from that moment, I realized, nah, I gotta start seeing. What am I missing? Where am I going? So everywhere I go, like when I met you, it was like, all right, how do I know this guy? Where before, I may have seen someone, just let them pass, or see something negative, get hung up in it. Now it's like, nah, that's not it. I see something different. The negative is actually pointing me somewhere. It's taking me somewhere beyond where I am in the moment. So yeah, that's how that plays out. It's just a moment to get me back on center. Like, for me, I'm not gonna hang out here off center with this. I don't care what it is. Like, I remember we were coming, speaking of cars, we were coming from, they were painting the lines in our parking lot. So we had to park. And now they've taken away a bunch of parking spaces because they painted these lines. So I parked like up on the curb. I barely have one tire in the street. Boom! I hear, and I knew it. From the direction of the sound behind me, I knew my car just got crushed. And I went over and I was pissed. And the young lady got out of her car, and I said, "Hey, you have insurance?" She said, "Yeah, it's okay." I'm like, I'm not gonna. How long do I want to hold that for myself, right?
Exactly.
And how long do I want to hold it for her? Because she was so scared. She was shaking. I was like, it's a car.
That's why the more centered you are inside yourself, the bigger difference you can make in other people's lives. When you see that what's going on in somebody else is even more traumatic, and you recognize that and you have compassion for them, and you're For me, it's the breath work, it's the meditation, it's the sky breath, the Sudarshan Kriya, all my spiritual practices, the yoga and the emotional healing and childhood wound healing and all of that. That's allowed me to be in a place where I can see somebody, like I should be upset or angry or whatever. It's like, I'm not. Why? Because I can see that, first of all, it's not going to help anything. Secondly, the other people who are also involved are already going through their stuff. And so what am I to do? What am I here for? Well, what can I do? Well, I can help them not be more traumatized. I can help provide some peace, some clarity, some compassion for them. I think once you realize it, or once I realized that my purpose here was to serve and to be of service to others and to bring peace, compassion, kindness, wisdom, clarity to help others, it's like, what else is there to do?
Right.
And what else would I want to do? It brings you so much joy once you realize that just chasing all this stuff that you thought was going to make you happy actually never really makes you happy. And the real happiness is when you're in those deep states of meditation, when you're, having those profound divine synchronicities, when God is showing up in your life in miraculous ways. And then when you're there helping somebody else through a challenging time and you see their life improve, you realize like why we came to this planet, as Patanjali said in the Yoga Sutras, both for enjoyment and for freedom, liberation from that enjoyment. Be able to enjoy this life and to be free from the attachment to it, right? As the Buddha taught, to be free from suffering.
The other day my mentor died, and my dad mentored him. So then they asked myself and my dad to send recordings. And my dad, being 90 this year, he doesn't interact with phones and things like he's not working, he's at home. And so we get on, and they've spent like 8 hours trying to get my dad's video to them. And I was like, okay, I do this all the time. You could have just called me. He's like, yeah, I thought about that. Okay, cool. I get that you didn't listen, and that's okay. So now I'm just like, all right, let's do it. Here's how we're going to do it. Different ways to load it up. First way didn't work. Now, second way didn't work. Now he's getting frustrated. And I'm like, okay, I know creating a Dropbox is a new thing on your side. So let's do it this way. And then, so within 15 minutes, it was over. And he was like, man, I could have saved a lot of my life just calling you. Like, it's all good. But what was great about it was my dad and I have had different moments, different stages of our evolution together. And what was great is how I just stayed clear. I stayed clear. And even though we hit bumps in the road, we got there a heck of a lot faster than he thought we could. Then he's like, okay, well, will you send it? Let me know when they get back. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna let you know. Hold on. I called them, put them on the phone. All of us are on the phone, and then it became a different moment where Linda, Jerry's wife, was just like, gosh, thank you so much, and she's crying and feeling all the stuff that he would have missed had I just called for him or done all those different things. And I just think when a moment comes, we have an opportunity always to elevate it or subtract from it, like always. And if everyone would recognize that, we wouldn't be in these stupid things anymore. And so what happened was he and JW's son went to Nepal, and they're always scoping for where could we put another Marriott? Like what's the place that gives us the feel, all the different things that they like to create someplace for our people to go. And they go into the rice paddies. They find this little house. They go in, and he leans against the wall, the guy I worked with. And when he falls into the wall, there's a book on animal skin, like this ancient book. He finds this ancient.
It's like, how old is this text? How old is this book supposed to be?
Before Christ.
So it's a few thousand years old.
Yeah.
I mean, Buddha was around 2,500.
Yeah.
So it would have been between Buddha and Jesus.
Yes, because he wrote it. Buddha wrote it. And so he brings it back, puts it in his house. He keeps trying to find people that could actually decipher it. He can't find anybody. And because I got the award, he says, hey, can you ask those guys you were with if anyone could read this? Finally, one guy who's out in the Himalayas, shouldn't have Wi-Fi, all the different things, says, "Sid, how'd you get a hold of me? How can I help you?" I said, "Well, I got this book." So I send him a picture of the book. He's like, "Yeah, I know exactly what book that is. That's Sid Harta's first book. How'd you get that? That's a really old copy. I don't know if it's the original, but it's as old as it gets." And so I go back to the guy and say, "Hey, they got it." And he said, "Well, can they translate it?" I write him back. He said, "Yeah, give him a couple minutes." He had translated it because he wanted to. It's memorized in Tibet, right? Like where they live, everyone knows the book by heart because they weren't allowed to have the copy. But obviously, the copy was hidden in the wall of this building. He sends the thing. I get Liz to print out both two copies of the book. I give one to him. I have the other. I go through and just read the whole thing. I mean, it's 100 and something pages. I read it like every day. I'm reading it in the morning. And the guy's like, "Well, when we get together," he's like, "I started, man, that thing's just too long." But at the end, it says, "Wherever the book is, you will find the Buddha." And part of that is that every every Bodhisattva, female Buddha, has a lineage that they're meant to wake up, and they will all find them when they get it.
So what would you say is the highest purpose of every human being on this planet?
To do what the Creator created them to do.
What's that?
I mean, everybody's different. It's like a Honeycrisp apple. You get the seeds, you plant the seeds, you will never get a Honeycrisp tree. Like its purpose isn't to make itself. It will make a different type of apple tree. Each and every one of us, we all have different irises. We all have different fingerprints. We are different. We all have a purpose. But in a forest, we're never going to be alike. So people need to stop trying to be like other people and figure out who they are and just be that. It's good enough. Like it really is good enough. Like it's good enough for me to just keep doing me, like, and evolve to be the best version of myself. And someone else will be sparked to be the best version of them. And whomever it may be that's meant to be at the top of the mountain in that way will get there, and then we all get there. And so I'm just constantly working on what's my purpose, how do I become the best version of myself, and have fun along the way.
And what's the top of the mountain?
For me?
For you, for others, yeah.
I mean, I think the top of the mountain is when we exhaust our purpose. I know that my purpose is to help people live their dream. Like that's real. Like I've been gifted with different gifts, whether it's the echo of my voice when I sing and people break open, or hands-on healings since I was 3. Like that's my purpose. And I've already seen the bigger purpose. And once it happens, I'll tell everybody about it. But I've seen it. I know it's coming, and I'm not there yet, and that's it. Like it once I found my purpose, it became easy because it's like, all right, this is just what I'm doing. Like it doesn't matter what anybody says about it. This is just what I'm doing. Another important question that I've contemplated for myself is, what do I like? Like, really, what do I like doing? Because I've done so much, right? Like music, art, coaching football, teaching yoga, speaking. What do I like? Because that's what you like is what's going to inspire you, which is your purpose. And so, that's big for me. And then just figuring out, where am I in my own way? Like, how have I held myself back from getting to what I want? Because most people say they want something, and then how quickly they go to something else. Like I remember I was with my one teacher, and she was like,
I've been plenty guilty of that.
right, like we all have, and it's okay, but figure it out at some point.
Yeah.
Right. And so I went to my teacher, and she was like, "Sid, what's your favorite vibration to live in?" I was like, "Love." She was like, "If you say that again, I'm going to hurt you." And she was a little tough lady. And I was like, "Okay." And she's like, I'm going to move on. I'm going to ask somebody else. And I was like, no, I got it. And she looked at me. She's like, so what is it? And I was like, misery. She said, why'd you say that? And I said, because I'm actually miserable more than I am in love. And then I made that choice. Like, okay, well, I'm going to stop being miserable because it's not what I want. I really want love, but I wanted misery more than I wanted love because I kept going to it. And so I'd say that to anyone, just what do you want? And then really look at, do you want it? Because if you do, you'll have the discipline it takes. You'll have the desire it takes. You'll have everything that it takes you will have if you truly know what you want. Most people don't. So they don't have it.